Coming to you live from the On Air Media Studios in Dallas, Texas. Welcome to Soundbites with Susan and Waylon, where we take a short extraction of our daily lives as publicists to share with our audience here in the Big D and beyond. I am Waylon Tate with J. Whalen and Associates.
And I'm Susan Friedman of Friedman Marketing and Public Relations.
And we are now
Good morning. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday. It's an exciting day, I think, for a lot of people. It's going to be, what is this season? This is episode 2.
Episode 2, season 2.
Season 2,
yes,
right?
2018.
I know. So I'm having a problem still adjusting to the fact that we've moved into a new year.
Coffee.
It's
Monday. You need more coffee.
Lots. I do. I need just intravenously shots of caffeine if possible. If anybody here has any of that. How was your weekend, Susan?
It was really good. I have to tell you. So the 13th on Saturday, my husband and I celebrated 6 years of being together.
Congratulations.
Yes, we celebrate, I don't know how many people do this, of when we started dating exclusively.
Oh, no, I like that. I like that because, you know, marriage is just a contract.
So that was on Saturday. So I spent some time with him. I didn't work. And since he's a Fort Worth boy, we try to explore Dallas. And I introduced him to some wonderful Dallas things. So I took him to the Dallas World Aquarium. Have you been there yet?
No, I have not.
There's a picture of me at the Dallas World Aquarium. It is amazing if you haven't been. I mean, they have so many very cool, amazing animals, and just the landscape. I mean, if I had another job, I would want to be a landscape architect for some of these museums. But it was some of the highlights of the animals that I saw, because I love it. They have these sharks. You walk through a tunnel, and it's surrounded by water, and there's sharks swimming through.
Oh, my God.
And there's this 13-foot-long manatee there. It's just huge.
And this is in the middle of downtown, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's like blocks from my office.
I asked for this little pygmy marmoset monkey. It was like this big. It was so cute.
Oh my God.
I know. So we're
It's
not going to get a dog. We're going to get a little monkey, I'm pretty sure.
Are those even legal, Susan? Can you literally have a monkey in your house? I don't think so. I think that's probably on the ban list,
Probably,
right?
but it was really cute. And I could create a little purse for it and bring it around with me shopping. Very Dallas.
That is very Dallas, particular parts of Dallas for sure. Well, congratulations on 6 years of being together. I just celebrated 40 years of being alone. So thanks for rubbing that in my face.
We're going to find a date. So if
there are any suitors out there, I'll speak directly to the camera. Please, you know how to find me.
Yes.
So.
Well, and then that night we went to the Stoneleigh Hotel, one of the most romantic hotels in Dallas.
Beautiful space.
And actually it's celebrating its 95th anniversary this year. Did you know that?
No, I did not know
Yes, it was built in 1923, I believe, and they still have some of the old original pieces, like architecture from the 20s.
And I believe that there are actually residences.
Yeah, there are. Yes. It may be a different building. I think there's the residences at the Stoneleigh, but don't quote me on that.
No, I'm going to have to go check it out because a potential client that we have actually dresses some of the, with flowers every single day, some of the residences at the Stoneleigh.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and
so
they've got to be pretty impressive spaces. Have you ever been in any of the residences at the Ritz-Carlton?
Yes.
Oh my gosh, like that's
Gorgeous.
Kind of a dream goal of mine is to get, I could maybe afford like, a broom closet.
I could live there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just can't afford it.
But
yeah.
No, it's great. And the Stoneleigh is a great hotel. Do you represent them?
No.
Okay, okay. But you do represent several others. AC Hotels, we'll just give a shout out.
Yeah, AC Hotels and Residence, and the first dual-branded hotel in downtown Dallas.
I actually got an opportunity this past Thursday. I didn't send Jansen the picture of this, but there is an incredible installation at the Dallas Museum of Art, and it's kind of a pumpkinscape is kind of how I would call it. And I've heard that actually, DMA also, many times has things on loan, right? So they have, kind of different exhibits that come in and they're not part of the permanent collection. But they actually purchased this room. It's actually a full installation that is a room in and of itself, and it's this amazing light show, really, of pumpkins.
Really?
Yeah, and it's tiny. They only let you in for 45 seconds. You can only go in groups of 2. And you literally walk in, they shut the door behind you, and it's all kind of like mirror glazed with LED lighting, but you're surrounded by pumpkins. It's really a cool experience. So you have
that
to go
sounds
check
amazing.
That out.
Oh my gosh, I need to check that out.
It is.
I've heard about it. I think it's been at the DMA for a little while now. I don't know when it's leaving, but yeah, I've heard amazing things about it. So
Yeah,
check it out.
I think it requires like the special, whatever it is, you pay to get in and then you have to pay for the additional features.
You're like the Dallas Museum of Art guru.
As
I
much
think
as
you
you
were
are
there
to
last week.
Fort Worth, you are in love with the arts community in Fort Worth. So I'm trying to, bring it home a little bit. But yeah, it's, every Thursday they do some kind of unique event. And so I'm trying to be more, studious in exploring what's in my city. Like that was part of my resolutions this year.
That's what I do with Brian.
So far I've made it to the DMA 14,000 times.
Are you a member?
And that is I'm not a member so much. Oh, Jansen was able to find a picture of, God, he is on his toes.
I know.
Let me could we have a better executive producer? So yeah, this is actually what and to be honest, it's maybe a 5 foot by 5 foot space. And so they close the door behind you, and again, it's only you, a guest, and the person who's showing you the tour or whatever. And it's really amazing. But you're in there for 45 seconds, and they do let you snap for all the Snapchatters out there and Instagram, and you can do anything as long as there's not flash photography. So it was a really
need
cool
to check it
experience.
out. I need to go with you next weekend.
Yes, you do. And maybe we'll do that for sure.
Okay.
Also, we had some kind of exciting news that took place this past weekend. And I know Jansen does have pictures of this. The one and only Katy Perry was in town on tour with her concert.
I love Katy Perry.
And I do too.
Dark
I think
Horse is like one of
she's
my favorite songs.
An amazing performer, an incredible singer. And so yeah, you're
Look at how
seeing
pretty
pictures.
she
Oh, she's
is.
just gorgeous. And that's with Luca O'Hara, a good friend of mine. That is with one of the local performers, Crystal Summers at Rose Room here. And I heard from them that she was so pleasant, really open and willing to take pictures. And I have to say, I love that about celebrities. When they go into a public arena, there's kind of an unset expectation, right? That you can try to enjoy yourself just as a person and not as a celebrity. But it's just human nature that people want to.
You're in the know, you know behind the scenes.
Kind of.
So did she call in advance? We had a discussion about this before.
did.
Do you know if she called in advance to get a table, or did she just show up?
No, I can't say this time. I can tell you how it normally works with this particular venue. Yes, her PR team would call the venue and say she's in town, she's going to want to, visit the establishment. And so normally, and I've mentioned this before on the show, when Gaga comes into town, she loves to go to the gay bars here. And so it's all set up weeks in advance, right? And so they will bring her through the back and kind of, just make it a seamless kind of experience for her. But
That's
to my
awesome.
knowledge, she had an incredible time. I talked to 2 people that got to speak with her backstage, and that she just really enjoyed herself.
So I heard, I don't know if you heard this, but they actually performed a Katy Perry song.
Oh, no, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I don't know which one, but I did hear that one of the drag queens performed a Katy Perry song.
Okay.
I don't know if they knew in advance that she was going to be there and planned it, but
I'm pretty sure they do, because I don't know. Some of that stuff happens, it's off of the cuff. But no, they had a really good time, and I love that she was so open and willing to take photographs and video clips and all of that kind of good stuff. So, anything else going on?
well, hello. Today is Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
That's right. That's right. And there's a lot going on in this city. and I'm
Yes, to
assuming
celebrate
probably
equal
around-
rights.
That's
you
right.
know, for across all communities. But yeah, so there are a lot of events going on, and I'm proud of Dallas for supporting it as much as they are. And I'm going to list a few of them if you are interested in attending. They're actually throughout the week, but you can check out D Magazine or any other major outlet, Culture Map,
Dallas.
Morning News, Guide Live.
For sure.
And there's a lot of listings. But there is actually it just started, 10 o'clock today at Fair Park. There is a Martin Luther King parade. So
Okay, yeah, that's right.
There's that.
We should have done a live cast,
And there's,
Susan,
I know, us walking.
with our signs, right?
Maybe we could do a green screen of
For
it.
the 1s to 2s of people that would be watching, that would be great. Yeah.
There's also a candle lighting today with the Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. And this is, I want to attend this. There's a Martin Luther King Jr. oratory competition amongst elementary school students.
Okay.
And they have to respond to the question, what would Martin Luther King Jr. say on the campaign trail if he was running for president this year?
Ooh, that is a tough one, right? That is a
tough one, but I love it.
I
would
too.
love to hear what elementary students would have to say.
And I think,
speaking as MLK.
that's right. And I'm sure Melissa Plaskoff would probably have some amazing things to say about that as well. You know, she's very embedded in, children's media and kind of like youth-driven content.
Yep.
And I think, because children are honest, right? They're very incredibly honest.
Mm-hmm.
They're also a lot more perceptive than I think people give them credit for. So the things that they're seeing, without getting too political, and I'll reserve a lot of my comments for that very reason, but I think that they would have a lot to say, right? About this particular topic, because, Martin Luther King was an incredible beacon of hope, right, in the civil rights movement. And we're in a very interesting time and space in this country, as it has.
I don't know if we're moving forward or moving back.
White-knuckling it. I'm white-knuckling it to not talk about it. So,
okay. Sorry.
No. I'm just trying to keep it on the upbeat.
Yep.
But
on the upbeat, though, I'm participating in this. There's a Dallas Women's March on Saturday morning, starting at 10 o'clock. And it's starting at the St. Paul United Methodist Church. And then there's going to be a rally around 10:45 at the ending location, which is Pike Park.
Okay.
And
have you ever participated before?
I haven't.
Okay.
When they had that huge women's march, I was in Las Vegas seeing Britney Spears, and I was so...
How women's live of you, Susan.
I was really bummed, though. I wouldn't change it for the world, though, because that was an amazing concert. But
she's an incredible performer.
Yeah. But, so I definitely want to participate in this.
No, maybe I'll join you. I think it's no secret that I'm probably one of the bigger, feminists that I know. And so, this is the year of the women, and I'm really, really excited to see kind of what comes out. So this may be a huge turnout, on the heels of Oprah's amazing speech last week.
I think there's 13,000 responses that they're going on Facebook.
That is super exciting for sure. So, again, maybe I'll join you for that particular Women's March. So we have an incredible guest coming up after the break, so please stay tuned. He'll have a. Go ahead.
When are you bringing Crudo vodka here for us?
You know what? That's a really good question. I have probably 2 cases of it in my trunk right now, so I could run out and get it.
Crudo's one of our sponsors. You're going to see an upcoming commercial with them. And, you haven't brought it.
So next week, I promise, I'll bring you some. And at 10 o'clock in the morning, Susan, you and I can get lit live on television. So
we'll have orange juice with it.
Perfect. So please stay tuned after this break from our sponsor, Crudo Vodka. And we're back.
We're back, and we have our special guest here today. It is Willie Baronet. Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm honored to be here.
He is a professor, and he is also a creator and artist of the We Are All Homeless project that has gotten notorieties across the country, if not globally.
Yes, we've done a couple of exhibits in the UK in the past 12 months. So
wonderful. And he's actually going to have an art installation this Saturday with the Dallas Chamber Symphony's concert. It's a free community concert at the Moody Performance Hall. And we could talk a little bit about that, and we can hear all about your project and what people will see there.
It's January 20th, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Which is this Saturday.
That's right. That's right.
So
add it to your
at 8
calendars.
p.m. Yep.
For sure.
So this concert has a lot of different art disciplines in it. It's music, song, visual, all across the board. And it starts off with a world premiere by Douglas Buchanan. And there's going to be two different organizations, the Dallas Chamber Symphony, as well as the Dallas Street Choir. And I'm sure you're familiar with the Dallas Street Choir.
I am. I've seen them online. It's I have trouble not crying every time I watch them sing because they're so heartfelt, and their message is that they are homeless but not voiceless. And
basically, powerful. In case our listeners aren't familiar with them, it is an organization and a musical outlet for Dallas's homeless and underprivileged, I guess you could say. So they actually recently performed at Carnegie Hall. I want to say in December.
Right. That is absolutely right.
Yeah. So they're going to be performing as well. And then there's going to be 3 films, and it's from the site. They were all nominees from the Sight of Sound International Film Festival. And the Dallas Chamber Symphony is going to be performing music alongside with the films. And what's really cool about that is it's interactive performance in which the audience can text in their favorite film, and the winner will get a cash prize. So it's very interactive. And there will also be 2 solo pieces by Ellen Thomas on flute and Danny Goldman on clarinet.
Nice.
And then we have our own Willie Baronet, who's going to have his art installation, and we're going to talk all about that right now. So thank you.
Yes, they invited me to participate, and we're still working out the details of how the installation is going to work in the lobby. But I'm really excited to be a part of this.
We're excited too. So can you start bare bones? What is it that you did? What is this art installation?
So We Are All Homeless began about 25 years ago. I began to buy and collect homeless signs from people on the street. Really because I felt awkward, you know, like a lot of people, I think I tried to look away. And so this was a way to begin engaging, and that over the years has turned into this really huge project for me. It led to a documentary film that we completed last year. I've done dozens of exhibits and installations of all sizes and shapes in lots of locations, and it's really a chance to put these signs in front of people in a way that gets them engaged and perhaps gives them a chance to change some preconceptions they may have about the homeless.
It is a little bit awkward. I never know what to do when there's a homeless person on the corner asking for money or in front of a store. Yeah, and so...
that would be interesting to know. Well, I would like to know, actually, what was, when you first started purchasing these signs, what was the reception from the men and women that you were purchasing them from? Did they feel, was it combative, or were they actually appreciative that you were willing to purchase?
I think in the beginning, and still today, because I still buy signs, a lot of it is curiosity at first, like, why do you want my sign? And once I tell them it's part of an art project, I try to get them to set the price, and they are usually pretty excited about making some money for their sign, which they don't really think has that much value.
Right.
I've had a few over the years not want to sell the sign, but it's pretty rare.
Okay.
Pretty rare.
Do you actually capture like an image of each of the, because what comes to my mind immediately is kind of the Humans of New York, which I'm sure, you know, everybody has seen.
I'm a big fan.
I am too. And so I thought, is because you're bringing such attention and kind of a voice to the voiceless with this project, do you think they would be apprehensive about being photographed with their own sign, and that you could start then maybe an entire digital project, right? Of not only honoring their mission and kind of giving them a voice, but giving them a true platform and honoring them, you know, as part of the project.
So for the first 18 years or so, I really didn't capture any images of the folks I was buying signs from. In 2014, we traveled across the country from Seattle to New York buying signs, and that was the first time that I got to do really in-depth interviews.
Sure.
Of course, it was all permission-based, so we didn't shoot people until they gave us permission to do so. You know, they signed releases. And in that case, I really got to go deep and hear about their story, and in some cases ask them about what home means to them, which became a central theme of this film.
And what is the answer?
The answers, as you might guess, all across the board. Some people talk about home being a shelter, where they sleep, and others talk about it being friends or family or a feeling of love and belonging or safety. Some associate it with food, with warmth. And the striking thing for me, because I've asked this question not just of people on the street, but of the housed, and I'm struck by the fact that all of those answers they're all just human answers. And the truth is, it's helped me see that it's not us and them, that it's just us.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's pretty powerful.
That is.
I'm assuming that there's a lot of different responses that you have, and really the people that you have met. After all of the years, what has been the one encounter, I'll say, that has made maybe the most impact on you?
Oh gosh,
that's a great question.
So there have been a lot of powerful encounters. One encounter that has turned into a relationship began in Philadelphia in 2014. I bought a sign from a guy named Eddie. Eddie at the time was a heroin addict, but I didn't know this. And his sign, which, can I share
we have
his
it.
sign?
Yeah, please show it.
I think I have his sign here. Yes. So Eddie's sign said, "Something to ponder. What if God occasionally visits Earth disguised as a homeless guy, panhandling to see how charitable we are?" Completely hypothetical, of course. So I bought this sign. I thought, what an intelligent guy. We interviewed him for the documentary. Almost a year and a half later, I got a Facebook message from Eddie, and he told me that he appreciated the project. He wanted me to know that he had been a heroin addict, that he was now sober for almost a year and a half, had a job in Lancaster, Pennsylvania. He and I began communicating. I did a couple of exhibits in Pennsylvania, went back, met him, let him see an exhibit where his sign was. He stood in front of it and began crying. And about a year ago, I asked SMU if they would fly Eddie to Dallas, and he joined me on the TEDx stage, and we talked about our encounter. And so he and I have now talked a couple of times together, and we texted since the new year, and it's a relationship. He's a friend of mine now, and he's one of the people who have found a way out. He went to jail in order to get sober, but he's an incredible guy, and he's got a new grandson, and is just an amazing person. So he's probably the one that sticks out the most, because it's a long-term thing.
Wow. I think what's really compelling to me is I am also a professor, so I understand kind of the power of academia. And I wonder for you, when did it become more than just a project for you, where you understood that you were really, in many ways, changing lives, right? Because you have brought, the issue of homelessness to a whole different platform. You said you just finished, which I'm really excited to see this documentary now. Is it available?
It's not publicly available yet, because we're still in the film festival thing.
But Susan and I can definitely get a private viewing, right?
You can.
Yes, and it's called Signs of Humanity. You have a website, www.signsofhumanity.org.
It actually aired on KERA on Thanksgiving, and then again on December 12th.
Shout out to NPR.
But yes, I can make sure you guys get a way to see it.
We would love that, and then we'll do a review on our website as well. That would be great.
Yeah.
Anything that we can do, obviously, to help. Susan and I have, I think, philanthropic hearts.
Yes.
And so we love to give, use our platforms, however small or big they may be, to projects that really mean a lot. Have your students at all become involved?
Yes, I try to bring this into the classroom when I can.
You teach a marketing class, is that correct?
I teach creativity and portfolio development in the advertising program at SMU. And
we need to come audit one of your classes. That would be fun too.
Anytime. Well, actually, I'd love to have you guys come and speak. And these are a bunch of students that are looking for a career.
We would love that.
Yeah, that'd be excellent. But I do share this with the students. I want them to see me doing some of what I'm trying to get them to do, which is to take risks and to try stuff that might fail, and see me struggling with what is the next step, and just I want them to experience this. And what ends up happening, students sometimes will buy signs, bring them to class. I've had students' parents in other states send signs to me.
Wow.
I had a student from France show up at my office door one day and say, my parents were just visiting from Paris and they brought you this sign. He had told his parents about the project, and he was one of those really quiet students, like I'm thinking, he's not paying attention to any of this, and he was totally into it. So,
that is
yeah,
amazing.
students inspire me too.
You're influencing globally.
Well, it influences me too, because this reminds me to stay grateful.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest gift to me.
And humble in the process. It's, you know, with any great cause, there's always a balance, right, of, and I know this from some of the kind of nonprofit work that I've done and been privileged enough to work on, is it's a balance, right, of telling someone's story without capitalizing on their, you know, misfortune. Have you ever had those moments kind of clarity where you think, I hope that they don't think that I'm, do you understand what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, sure. I think I struggled with that early on about, you know, I want this to be something for good. And of course I struggle with, I don't want to exploit anyone. And so I just plow forward and try to do the best I can with that in terms of getting their permission and trying to hold space with them, honor them, in even if it's just a 10-second interaction. The biggest thing I feel like I can do is to see them as a human being, let them see me, and to have a real moment together.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Are you involved at all with any, speaking of nonprofits or philanthropic projects, have you kind of been invited to speak at some other organizations?
I have. So we have our own nonprofit, the We Are All Homeless Impact Campaign, which is really about raising awareness. I was the keynote speaker for the Bridge at their big fundraising breakfast a couple of years ago, and we raised almost $500,000 in that morning in terms of, they invite lots of powerful folks in town to contribute. I've done the same at a homeless organization in South Bend, Indiana.
Okay.
So yes, anytime I can, I love the Stew Pot. There's lots of organizations that I've worked with, the Housing Crisis Center. So anytime I can partner or help, I love doing that. And they've helped me in the same way.
Jansen, is there a way that we could see some photos of some of the previous exhibits that Willie Baronet installed? Do you have any, or can you show us some of the signs
sure.
as we're about to close up?
Sure.
Excellent.
I mean, some of the signs are serious, you know, and poignant. And for me, being an ex-graphic designer, some of this appeals to me aesthetically.
Right.
And some of the signs are funny, creative, although what I've realized is that even although they're funny on the surface, that there's usually a pretty heartfelt story behind them. And
Right.
because in a way, this is about trying to get attention.
It's marketing 101.
It is. It is.
For them to
and I've
survive.
I've
5
now
minutes
got
for a miracle.
1,400 signs, and so it's rarely a week goes by that I don't buy signs.
Excellent.
There, of course, are
Out of beer.
the really honest
Yeah.
signs
Well,
as well.
you'll be able to see this art installation once again at the Dallas Chamber Symphony's concert. It is a free community concert this Saturday, and even though it's free, we recommend that you reserve tickets at dcsymphony.org. Or you can also show up at the door and see, they'll provide tickets then too.
Yeah, that would be great. And you'll be there.
Thank you. Yep.
I will be there. We're going to
Yes.
try to do some Q&A when possible. I'd love to engage with as many people as possible.
That would be great. And thank you so much for joining our show. We really appreciate it. You have done some incredible work, and so we really appreciate.
Well, thanks, and thanks for having me. I'm excited, really excited to be part of this concert.
Yeah,
Good.
it's gonna be
And so
amazing.
make sure you attend January 20th. again, we will be there, so we'll do a recap on that as well. And thank you to Critical Launch, one of our amazing sponsors, who created and developed our website. So for any of your web development and graphics needs, make sure to check out criticallaunch.com. And
I want to give a shout out to On Air Media. That's
Yes.
Our podcast network. And if you haven't visited, they are doing some amazing podcasts. So go to, is it On-Air Media on Facebook?
Yeah.
And
check out
view
some of
all of the podcasts.
Our sister shows.
Our sister
so to speak.
shows, yes.
So great. Until next Monday, we hope you have a wonderful week, a productive one as well, and get out there and check out some MLK activities.